Hi, I'm Ben, and this is my review on Bumblebee. I actually saw this a few days ago when I was staying at my dad's place with his, yeah, but I went to see it with my dad and a boy named William, who was long story, but um, a, f- a, f- a new friend of mine, William. Yeah, so I went to see it with my friend I know, William and my dad. So I saw Bumblebee. Yeah, so Bumblebee. Bumblebee was probably the best Transformers movies of them all because yeah, this actually earned a hundred a thousand dollars 100% on Rotten Tomato. And you might be wondering why. Well, it's directed by Travis Knight. It's kind of like, like the Batman movies, the Tim Burton Batman movies. You know how Batman was good, the Tim Burton first one with Michael Keaton as Batman, but then when Tim Burton did Batman Returns, people complained that it was too dark and too serious, which, now that I think about it, I think Batman Returns might be underrated. But yeah, but then then Tim Burton was demoted to producer and Joel Schumacher was director, and then we got Batman Forever and and Robin. So yeah, so basically kind of similar to this. Basically, my Michael Bay was keep making the Transformers movies, and the people at Paramount was like, it doesn't matter, we're still making money. But then the last night didn't make enough money, so they were like, oh no. So so I think the new because I heard the guy was the former president or head boss of Paramount. My aunt and uncle are visiting, so that's why you those voices. So, anyways, so my aunt and uncle, I mean, so yeah, so the new guy of Paramount was like, you know what? We're done with Bay's movies. We're gonna demote him or something. We're not gonna do this anymore. We're not just gonna make terrible movies and just make money off of it. Because yeah, I think because people are like, why do we still go and see these Transformers movies if they're all gonna be bad? Because we like they see the trailer, then they're bad. Well, don't they hear like Rotten Tomato reviews or something? Like, if they hear it's bad, then don't see it. Like, I mainly know from why a movie is terrible, mainly because of like Metacritic or Rotten Tomato reviews or reviews online. So yeah, people like there are people who have to see it because it's their job. So anyway, so yeah, this movie made a lot of less money because I guess peop with all the DC and Marvel movies, with all people talk about the DC and Star Wars movies of how like DC, oh, this is garbage, this is good, this is garbage, and being divisive on that. I think people are starting, and how good the Marvel movies are, I think people are starting to outgrow the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, not the Marvel, no, not the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Starting to outgrow the Michael Bay Transformers movies. And these movies aren't that great, and I think people are like, you know what, we deserve smart movies. But yeah, but Bumblebee is actually a good, smart movie, but I think Bumblebee, the Transformers movies, has cried wolf so many times, they're expecting this movie to be bad, or this movie is coming out December. There's a lot of movies coming out in December. Aquaman, Mary Poppins Returns, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So people really has to be picky of what movie they want to see, and it's Christmas time. A lot of people are trying to spend time with Christmas and buying and spending their money buying presents for their children or their friends or families. So they might have not time to see every movie that's coming out in December. They have to get really picky of which one they want to see and which one they don't want to see. But Bumblebee, sorry. So yeah, Travis Knight was the director. Travis Knight, if you look him up, he mainly does visual effects for like Paranorman, Coraline, and Paranorman, Coraline. um, Box Trolls and Kubo and the Two Strings, and he directed Kubo and the Two Strings. So this is his first live action movie that he did. And I told Tabby about this, and he's like really? Kubo and because these are animated stop motion anime movies and this is live action movie. Like these are two different elements, but he does a good job in this. The best part in this now let's talk about the movie. The best part about this movie is the opening. All of it is literally they grab the 80s cartoon and CGI it to make it look exactly like the 80s cartoon. There's still a bit of the Michael Bay version designs, but trying to be do you remember that video of how it should have ended, those animated how it should have ended videos of and they did that they made Optimus Prime in the 80s cartoon. It's like they did that but with this movie. It's like they made that's literally the best part. I actually wanted that as the whole movie. That would be so cool if the whole movie is the Transformers on Cybertron and yeah. But when they go to the Earth, it's actually still great. It's still a lot of fun. Like the main girl character, Charlie. I think his name's Charlie. I forget. Is it Charlie? But yeah, her. I'm so glad because remember, this isn't directed by Michael Bay. He's producing it, but hey, he's actually doing a better job as producer than what he did with the Ninja Turtle movies. But hey, so yeah, um, I like that she wasn't because in all the other Michael Bay Transformers movies, Shia LaBeouf or Mark Wahlberg's character were the main characters. And all the female characters were always painted as sex objects. Forgive me if that's inappropriate to say, but come on, there are. I mean, Michaela, whoever that blonde lady was in Dark of the Moon, all of them were sex objects, and they were just there to look sexy and not have any personalities. In fact, that's a lot of criticism the Michael Bay Transformers movie get, that they're all portrayed as sexy, beautiful women with no shred of personality. Here, she actually has a personality and a nice backstory. She used to be like a jump diver in a pool, whatever that's called, and her dad was really supportive, but he had a heart attack or he died something, and she felt really miserable about it, and she's upset with her mom just suddenly moving on, and you kind of understand her point of view. Now, there is a lot of stuff in this movie that remind me of the movie Iron Giant, like the giant robot befriending a character. There's even a scene where she thinks she's hurt, and Bumblebee thinks she's hurt and starts opening fire on everything, on the military. Now, the military aren't exactly aren't exactly the bad guys, but they're kind of the antagonists, but they're kind of like, you know, the army. They think Bumblebee's bad, but he's not bad, but they has to learn that he's not bad, and there's a government thing. But here's the thing. They actually do something different with this cliche. Because the Decepticons go to the army who's hunting down Bumblebee. In the beginning of the movie, it's like we're looking for this fugitive, but they don't know that the Decepticons are the bad guys, and they kind of make fun of it. Like the main army guys, like they're called Decepticons. You don't think that's a bit weird? And he actually points that out. But yeah, he learns that they're the bad guys, and they realize and tries to save the day. Because now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of differences between Bumblebee and Iron Giant. But yeah, I don't know what else is there to say, but there's this mean girl who's only in the movies for a few parts, because I've never been a big fan of the mean girl cliche. I just like to have a female lead in a movie and not have those stupid bully cliches in a movie. But yeah, she gets what she deserves, and she's only there for a couple of scenes, and she's not really that big of a deal. But yeah, she has a nice romance with this awkward nerd guy, and he's not like the racist awkward nerd you see in the other movies. He's actually funny and actually have more stuff to do. And they and yeah, so the Decepticons, the main villains are pretty cool. I love seeing all the. There is a plot hole I noticed because in Transformers: The Last Knight, they mention he fought in World War II, but they act like he just came here right now in the 80s, just right here, right now. But they still act like it's a prequel. So what does that mean? Did they lie to, like about fighting in World War II? Like, are some of is The Last Night not even non-canon? What's going on? They lied? What's going on? But yeah, because it acts like a reboot, but it acts like a prequel, which I kind of more believe, but it acts like a sequel, a reboot, like Batman Begins, like those kind of origin reboots. So, anyways, later in the film, he watches like The Breakfast Club because it takes place in the 80s, and a lot of movies takes place in the 80s, and I actually like that it takes place in the 80s. Like, there's a part where he watches The Breakfast Club and they do that fist thing, and Bumblebee does that fist thing. But yeah, it was a great movie, and right after this, I'm going to review Mary Poppins Returns. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I feel bad that it's not making enough money, which I kind of understand why it's not, but take care.